I think Victoria, you said some great point already, but I'm sure that you get these type of DMs such as Victoria, how to grow? Can you share any advice? Maybe even go viral. I try not to say that, but there are still people looking for this type of advice. So, what will be your answer to this, such as grow your brand, increase following, etc.?
So I would start with, I think, really auditing your profile. You want to make sure that what you're posting about aligns with your expertise. If LinkedIn feels that you're an expert in a certain field, then when you post with the same keywords that are in your profile, it tends to get better reach because if it feels that you're an expert, it wants other people to see that content. If I started writing about accounting, for example, it probably wouldn't push that content as far because it doesn't feel like I'm an authority when it comes to that topic. So definitely aligning your keywords that are in your profile with the keywords that are in your content is a very, very important strategy. Aside from that, I think if you're talking about virality or content that resonates, just saying the quiet part out loud. Like the things that people are thinking but are too afraid to say, that really does tend to connect the most. And that's why there's this kind of joke around creators and social media managers where it's the post that took 5 minutes that always performs the best versus the one that you spent hours on overthinking it. Because it's usually those like raw, candid things that you say that other people are like, yes, you know what? I'm glad somebody said it. That tends to work very, very well.
That's a good point. I was thinking the same, that I think everyone has experienced like, oh my god, I spent so long writing this post, it didn't perform. Then I shared something I wrote quickly and it performed much better. So that was a great point as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just don't get caught up on one post. I think especially in the beginning, I would get so fixated on making a post perfect and, rereading it 20 times, which it really doesn't matter that much. It's not about that one post. Don't dwell on it. If it doesn't perform, just continue. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Because it's about the collection and what that collection of posts says about you. It's not about one post. And if it didn't perform well, then chances are people didn't see it anyway. So it really doesn't matter. Just keep going and keep posting and keep learning, right? So always be auditing and looking at your results and seeing which format performed the best, which topic performed the best, and keeping track of that is really important.
I agree. I think sometimes we obsess about details, but I think we would be surprised that people don't really pay as much attention as we think. They don't really have time or bandwidth if you see so much of content to literally read every line and look every single little detail. So it's a good reminder for me as well not to obsess every little detail.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, now also with there being so many AI generated posts, and I'm not at all against AI, but I do think that some people are just copying and pasting content and not really putting a lot of thought into it. It's made it so that some of these like shorter posts that are less formatted, even like include typos and things like that, end up resonating more because there's just this like aversion to things that look like they are completely AI generated and not edited at all and don't have any kind of like human soul in it. So just keeping that in mind that sometimes you're better off just, writing something raw and putting that out there than overthinking it, over polishing it, trying to spend all this time on it. And then it comes off as if it's too polished, it's too professional, it's too boring. So I think people are really moving away from that. And I think AI has really pushed people to want content that is a little bit less polished.
It's a great point, of course, and I agree. And I think it's kind of interesting that I don't know if some people, of course, I use it as well, but sometimes it seems like that people might use it to speed up the process. Sometimes it feels like a quantity over quality, but at the same time, it's kind of paradox that they use AI, but actually in the end you're going to enjoy content written by human because there is so much AI that everything sounds the same. So if there's actually something written by real person that makes it different, ultimately it's going to stand out compared to
Right.
the rest, which is quite interesting.
And I think it also depends on how sophisticated your prompting is and the AI you use and the inputs, because the more thought you put in and the more information you feed the AI, and depending on what tools you use, it really changes the output. So it's no secret that I'm an investor in Magic Post. And with Magic Post, I'm able to upload my profile. So essentially it's reading all of my content and making sure that when I do use it, it's creating things that are in my voice. So I don't
Hmm.
have to, try and make it doesn't sound like everybody else. It's already learning from the way that I write, so that then I get that output. And I still, even so, I will still edit it down before I post that. So I think that you have to just be really intentional with the way that you use AI. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's about how much effort you put in, because if you are going to be lazy about it, it's going to show and your audience is going to see that.